Friday.
And welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are taking a look at the three big releases of March 13th, 2015. And there was no bigger new release this weekend than our first film that we have here, Disney's live-action remake of Cinderella, directed by Kenneth Branagh. And I gotta say, man, this had probably one of the great marketing campaigns you'll ever see. I mean, this is a movie where, you know, it kind of, the marketing really started the year before when you went to go see Maleficent. And at the end of the trailers, you got a trailer for Cinderella, and it was basically this. I mean, all you gotta do is just show the shoe, and you pretty much know, well, technically it's not a shoe, it's a slipper, but you show that slipper, and pretty much everyone should know what that's a trailer for. I mean, at the time, it was mixed opinions on that, just showing the shoe in general, but honestly, that's one of the great teaser trailers out there, because you really don't need to say too much about what the movie they're promoting is. All they gotta do is just show you the slipper, have the Disney logo there, and then tell you the release date, and I think you can figure out what this actually is, but apparently, a lot of people didn't get it back then, but I still think it's one of those great teaser trailers that doesn't get mentioned all that much. But let's talk about the Cinderella movie itself. You follow the story of a young Ella, played by Lily James, so technically her name's not really Cinderella. It was basically a name given to her by her evil stepsisters. But Ella, whose merchant father remarries following the tragic death of her mother, and keen to support her loving father, Ella welcomes her new stepmother, Lady Tremaine, played by Cate Blanchett, and her daughters, Anastasia and Drizella, into the family home. But when Ella's father suddenly and unexpectedly passes away, she finds herself at the mercy of a jealous and cruel new family. Finally relegated to nothing more than a servant girl covered in ashes and spitefully renamed Cinderella, since she used to work in the cinders. Ella could easily begin to lose hope, yet despite the cruelty inflicted upon her, Ella is determined to honor her mother's dying wish and to have courage and be kind. She will not give in to despair nor despise those who abuse her. And then there is the dashing stranger she meets in the woods, unaware that he is really a prince, not merely an employee of the palace. Ella finally feels she has met a kindred soul, and it appears that as if her fortunes may be about to change when the palace sends out an open invitation for all maidens to attend a ball, raising Ella's hopes of once again encountering the charming Kit, played by Richard Madden of Game of Thrones fame. Alas, her stepmother forbids her to attend and callously rips apart her dress. But as in all good fairy tales, help is at the hand of a kindly beggar woman, stepping forward with armed with a pumpkin and a few mice, changing Cinderella's life forever. That's, of course, the fairy godmother, played by Helena Bonham Carter. So, if you've been following my stuff for a long time now, you know how much I love the original Cinderella. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's actually, I think, second up there with my favorite Disney movies of all time, behind my favorite movie of all time, Bambi. So, yeah, I've touched on that one enough. I mean, I love that version so much. And, yeah, I was excited to see this movie, and sure enough, it didn't disappoint me. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Granted, yeah, it's the same story we've seen done over and over again, but there is a lot of unique twists and turns they throw in here. They do a good job of blending the animated film elements and elements from other adaptations into the story very well. And, you know, I touched on it a little bit with Into the Woods, where I thought Anna Kendrick should have been cast in this movie because she was Cinderella in the other version, and Lily James probably should have been in that version. Obviously, that's not true whatsoever. As much as I loved Anna Kendrick in Into the Woods, Lily James is just pitch perfect as Cinderella. I mean, she fits into who I easily see as the equivalent of a live-action Cinderella. She steals every moment she's on screen. Her performance is such a great turn, and no proof of that comes in full force when you watch her in that ballroom scene with the prince, and, you know, the prince goes, you know, and Cinderella's just like, oh, they're all looking at you, and the prince is just like, believe me, they're looking at you, and you can definitely tell that when you watch this movie. I mean, they do a fantastic job of making her the center of attention, and making her a likable character, too. Like I said, this is a character that gets beaten around by her family members, and just, you know, she could easily give up hope and just basically take this and just be reduced down to just a mere peasant of her former self. But no, she doesn't do that. She really is very compelling in this movie to watch, and it's boasted by Lily James giving this really good performance. She's also a good singer, too. She does this really good version of A Dream Wish Is a Wish Your Heart Makes that plays in the end during the credits. I mean, I really thought she was absolutely fantastic in this. I even liked Helena Bonham Carter in this. You know, she plays the fairy godmother, and she also does a good rendition of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. A lot of the rest of the cast are really good. I really loved Kate Blanchett as Lady Tremaine. I thought they did a good job of making her not just do the same performance that was done in the animated movie. They gave her a unique way to be just this evil, spiteful person who is really simply just jealous of Cinderella because she's more beautiful than she is. And I mean, yeah, everybody here is really good. Richard Madden, I thought, was very good as Kid. I like the chemistry she had with her, he had with Lily James in here. They're kind of taking those elements that were in Cinderella 3 by making the prince more of an interesting character. Because in the first movie, he really wasn't an intriguing character whatsoever. He was just basically the prince. He doesn't even have a line in that movie. But yeah, I liked that the third film did give him more to do, and they bring it into this film very well too. I thought Stellan Skarsgård was really good as the Grand Duke. Derek Jacobi was very good as the King. Holly Granger and Sophia McShera were very good as Anastasia and Drizella. You even see a little bit of the brief scenes with Ella's parents, including Ben Chaplin and Haley Atwell, who I thought were actually really good in the movie. The film looks gorgeous, man. I mean, this is the style of filmmaking that we used to seeing from Kenneth Branagh, and it's interesting to see Disney do a period film like this, and they pulled off very well here. They make this look very impressive. Unlike, it's interesting because they didn't spend a whole lot of money on it. I mean, $95 million is still a lot of money, but certainly is much less than, say, the $200 million blockbusters that the Disney live-action films have kind of now become. The fact that they were able to pull this off with $95 million is extremely impressive on their part. I mean, I was really hoping that, if they could bring this style to Beauty and the Beast and some of the adaptations they had coming up, I think this might have been the right move to go. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Not everyone was bad, per se. In fact, there was a time when most of them I didn't hate whatsoever, like everybody else did. Like, I didn't hate The Lion King. I didn't hate, what was another one? I was going to say Jungle Book, which everyone loved the Jungle Book, but, I didn't hate Lilo and Stitch. I didn't hate Snow White like everybody else did. I didn't hate The Little Mermaid. Like, most of them I do like. I think the only ones I really don't like are Beauty and the Beast and Pinocchio. And Beauty and the Beast is one where it's just like, I don't like, there's things about it that I do like, but it's just the stuff they force in there that really bugs me. And we'll get to that when we get to Beauty and the Beast in 2017. Dumbo's another one I really don't like a lot, even though there's some stuff in there I did like, but yeah, there's a lot of flaws to the live-action remakes in general here. So usually, I'm the defender of most of those movies, but even I'll admit, yeah, most of them are not. There's some notable bad ones too, but we'll get to them as we go along here, because we are going to starting to get to all these live-action remakes down the road here, but anyway, back to this movie here. There were some flaws that I did have in this. Like, the general problems are mostly with the story here. All the parents end up dying of unknown diseases. Like, they never give us an indication of what killed them off. I mean, did they all just go over the way of the Oregon Trail and just die of dysentery? I mean, that's pretty much what I think happens, because simply and effectively, you never figure out what the hell's going on to everybody here. I don't know if I'm the only one that was frustrated with the fact that during the scene with Cinderella and the prince, that Cinderella never tells the prince her name before the bell rings at midnight. I mean, saying your name is literally just half a second long, and it's just like, I think you would have enough time to at least know the guy's name at least. I mean, it's a little nitpicky thing, but it's only something that really bothered me in most adaptations. It's just kind of like, you spend all this time with the prince, you're so infatuated, and yet you can't figure out what his name is. Like, but then again, if you really want to be I'm being nitpicky on this, because literally in the animated Little Mermaid, it takes Prince Eric about a day or two before he actually asks her what her damn name is. So, this is probably a problem that was way back in the day, but it's also, as much as I like Stellan Skarsgård in this, I don't think making him the Grand Duke, sort of this traitor to the king, works, because not only does his plan backfire pretty quickly, but the Grand Duke was never meant to be a traitor to the king in the original animated movie. And these are some of those changes that I completely agree with people they shouldn't make in this. Like, as much as I love the Lilo and Stitch remake we just had, I completely agree that Jumbo shouldn't have been the villain in that movie. That really was something where it's just like, okay, you could say whatever you want about the rest of the movie, but I will agree with you on that front there. And here, there's no reason for the Grand Duke to be kind of the antagonist in this. I'm getting sick and tired of movies adding pointless villains for no reason whatsoever. And, Noah had that same problem the year before. We have Ray Winstone's character being the villain for no reason whatsoever. And this is right up there with that in general. overall, man, I can't really say much more about this film than I haven't already said already. I really enjoyed the hell out of this. This is probably my favorite Disney live-action remake behind 101 Dalmatians, the 96 one. I mean, this is a very good movie that works casting-wise, visual-wise. Yeah, it's more of a been-there-done-that type of a story, but a very good been-there-done-that type of a story. Kenneth Branagh's unique vision of this and the casting puts this adaptation's heads above what it could have been, and I really do enjoy it. As somebody who really loves the original Cinderella, I thought they did a fantastic job of adapting this into a live-action film, and it works really, really well. So, yeah, I do recommend this one a lot. Before we move on to the next movie, though, I want to talk about the short that was playing in front of this, which was kind of a big deal, and that was Frozen Fever.
You shall go to the ball.
And it was a big deal simply because it was the first time you saw Frozen after the big success of the movie a year and a half ago. So this is basically a short film where you have Anna's birthday and Elsa's planning to throw her the perfect surprise party with the help of Kristoff, Sven, and Olaf. However, after planning the huge party and as Anna is being led on a party treasure hunt, Elsa finds that she has caught a cold. She starts sneezing and produces a group of small snow people, much like Olaf, with every sneeze. After some near misses, a very exhausted Elsa finally makes it with Anna to the courtyard where the party has been arranged. It's a big hit, and at last Anna manages to convince Ella to let her lead her to bed and take care of her. Meanwhile, Olaf has taken the tiny Snoogies snowman under his wing and taken them to Elsa's ice castle with the help of Kristoff and Sven, where they stay with the puzzled Marshmallow. And essentially, like I said, this is kind of just a short film coming off of, it's very similar to the Tangled short film that was in front of the 3D re-release of Beauty and the Beast. I mean, it's a good short. It's a really good short in general. They're not doing a whole lot of story development or something that outpaces the preceding film, just so long as the short can still be entertaining, and it generally is. The new song, I think, is very catchy in this. The characters are still likable. The story is really good. I think it is a really good short, but nothing amazing in general here. I mean, for Frozen lovers, I think they'll definitely get a kick out of it. I do remember when this was coming out, this was another one where a lot of people were very mixed on it because they mostly thought that, oh, it's just Disney selling more toys and all that. Well, if you consider Frozen being one of the more successful properties that Disney has had in the last 20 years, I can't blame them for trying to exploit this as much as they can. And if it's good, what's the big deal? I mean, it's a good short in general, but this was around that time when this sudden backlash on Frozen was starting to happen because, oh, it's a gigantic hit and everyone loves it, so that means I gotta hate it. Just like, no, you could still enjoy it even if it's all over the place. I mean, it's a good movie and it's a good short that they did here. The same thing happened with the next Frozen short they did, Olaf's Frozen Adventure, which, I mean, it's a good short. Probably not the best place to put it out there with Coco, but again, we'll touch on that in 2017. But I mean, yeah, this is a short that actually does work overall. Like, if you love the characters from Frozen and want to see a new adventure with them, this is worth it, and it's definitely worth a watch. So, alright, so with all that said, that is Cinderella plus Frozen Fever. So let's go ahead and move on to the other two new releases this week. Liam Neeson starring in Run All Night with Ed Harris.
One night to figure this out. One night. Run All Night, rated R, March 13th.
Yeah, it's not quite a Walk Among the Tombstones good, but it certainly isn't Taken 3 bad. Run All Night, this is Liam Neeson starring as an ex-Irish mob hitman who goes on the run with his estranged adult son, played by Joel Kinnaman, after he's forced to kill the son of a mob boss. The mob boss being played by Ed Harris, and you also have Common in here. This is directed by Jamie Collet-Serra, who has worked with Liam Neeson the last couple of times on a couple of movies. Of course, Nonstop, Unknown. Has he done anything with else since then with him? I don't think so. Well, there was The Commuter, but that's not until later on down the road. But yeah, this is one of those Liam Neeson movies where the novelty from Taken is really starting to wear off here. And it mostly just doesn't work because the story overall is pretty lame and pretty forgettable. I mean, and it also probably doesn't help that Joel Kinnaman, who I think is one of those actors that really is not that good, is playing this character like a plank of wood. I mean, that's pretty much what him and Morella Enos from The Killing were known for, being two actors who really do not have any chemistry or any charisma to them whatsoever. They're just literal planks of wood. And Joel Kinnaman in here is not that great in here. Ed Harris, I thought, was pretty solid in here. You also have Vincent D'Onofrio, Nick Nolte, Bruce McGill, Genesis Rodriguez in here, all doing okay. I mean, the real element of this that really doesn't work for me is Kinnaman. I just didn't really buy him as an actor in this movie overall. I just didn't think he was all that great. And the story, like I said, really does not really do anything that unique or anything interesting. It's just kind of a story we've seen kind of done before. This guy kills the son of a mob boss, and now he's going to come after him. It's just like he has to get his dad to go ahead and try to save him. And there's really nothing of value in this film compared to the other movies that these guys have made. And like I said, Liam Neeson, it really did feel like he was kind of running on fumes at this point because of the success he had with Taken, and even that was wearing off by this point in time. It's just like it was getting to the point where Liam Neeson was really kind of heading into that territory where he would just take whatever action movie he has available to him, and they'll put it on the big screen because he was such a big star in Taken, and it just didn't work. It was a movie that really misfired on so many levels, and yeah, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. It was just a movie that's just kind of like a very underwhelming mess of a film. I think that's pretty much all you have to say about that one, Run All Night. So, let's go ahead and move on to the second best movie of this week and our last film, that is It Follows.
Who helps it get close to you?
So in this movie, you have Michael Monroe, who would later be seen in Longlegs, starring as 19-year-old Jay. And for her, autumn should be about school, boys, and weekends out at the lake. But after a seemingly innocent sexual encounter, she finds herself plagued by strange visions and the inescapable sense that something is following her. Faced with this burden, Jay and her friends must find a way to escape the horrors that seem to be only a few steps behind. So in a way, this has kind of a little bit of a precursor to something like Smile, where, I mean, it's literally kind of the same idea, except instead of people just following her around, she's following, as these people are being followed by an evil smile covered by a secret entity, but that's a whole other thing altogether. But yeah, when this movie came out, it was an unexpected hit, and honestly, I could see why. This is right around the time when I was starting to broaden my genre watching, by watching other things other than comedies and action films, and doing some horror films, and it was really one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. I mean, this movie really did a good job of creating a feel of like a great homage to 80s horror movies. It definitely shows in this film. The look of the film is really cool and stylish. The style is very cool. The creature designs overall are very impressive. And Michael Monroe is really good playing this main character. It's a very unique film, and a film that just works on so many levels. And, give a lot of the credit to David Robert Mitchell, the director. I mean, it's a movie you can definitely tell has had a lasting impact, as so many other shows and movies have taken from this. Shows, it's like ranging shows, like you'll get a spoof from Funny or Die, obviously, but then you'll get something like, it'll be seen in an episode of The Good Wife, or an episode of The Amazing World of Gumball, or even on Atlanta they did something like this. I mean, this is something where it is really just something where it has taken off on so many levels, and they're trying to make a sequel for this, but, I think they said that it's been delayed because of scheduling conflicts, but of course David Robert Mitchell's working on a new film over at Warner Brothers, Flowervale Street, which comes out later in the year, which I'm looking forward to check out. But other than that, though, this movie overall really is good. It's a movie where I think it's the perfect launching pad. If you want to start watching more horror movies, this is probably the best one to start off with here. It'll make you want to watch the 1980s horror movies that they're taking a lot of inspiration from with this, because you could definitely tell this is an heavily 80s inspired horror film, except it's a modern film made in 2015. It's a really good movie. I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't seen It Follows yet, definitely go see it, man. It is definitely worth the watch, so I highly recommend It Follows. And so with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies, and next week, not looking too promising. A lot of these movies are not that good. We have the sequel to Divergent, the Divergent series, Insurgent, with the cast from that movie, as they try to be the next Hunger Games in Twilight and kind of failing miserably at it. But we also have Sean Penn starring in the action film that you usually don't see Sean Penn doing, The Gunman. We also have a film that's trying to copy the success of God's Not Dead the year before from Pure Flix, Do You Believe? And no, there's no Cher involved to come in and say, do you believe in love after love? Sorry, I apologize for that. But we also have Al Pacino starring in Danny Collins. So we'll take a look at those 4 movies coming up on the next episode. So that'll be tomorrow. With all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.